So, yeah, the sketch. I thought I started this in 2024, but actually I started this in January of 2025. So that was quite surprising. Also, let's just quickly go to see how long I've worked on this track. Like originally, the track was called "In the Distance," but then I realized that I was there was another lecturer's tune that was already called "Distance." And eventually, I had a lot of titles, and then "Leap of Faith" resonated with me. Um, yeah, as you can see, I started it in January 2025, and I didn't even spend that much time on it. It's just 24 hours and 29 minutes, which I didn't expect. But it's not like sometimes with tracks when I work on a song, yeah, technically I have spent that much time in the project, but there's also a very long part of making the initial sketch, and then you have it on your drive sitting for forever because you're working on something else or you just don't know what to do with it, and then you go back. So yeah, technically it's 24 hours, but I would say it took me a year to finish this because it was also and also of course the vocals take a lot of time to get recorded, get the lyrics written. So shout out to Kitsunu. Sorry, I mispronounce your name all the time. I hope you won't judge me too much. But Kintsuku, yeah. She wrote the lyrics. I just uploaded on Instagram. Everyone does it. Yeah, people still call me Eldon or Edlan or weird things. It's okay. It's part of the experience. Right. So let's begin. Yeah. So when I first started making this track, I wanted to make something that was a little bit bigger because I made a lot of demos, and I wanted to make something that sounded huge, like wall of sound, but very pretty, like very wide, and also have some energy in there, while still keeping it, yeah, liquid, but it's kind of hinting towards more like euphoric dance floor. Uh, yeah, and I wanted to do that sound for a very long time, and and just this sketch just happened out of nowhere, and that was how it started actually. So let's actually go into the details here. So I remember that I started with messing around with stretching this little sample here. So this is just a sample that I found in my sample pack somewhere. And what I did was I used the E2 mono stretching algorithm, like in the time stretching in FL Studio. This specific algorithm just sounds very strange and weird, and I stretched it in a way, and suddenly it started like this. Like I was like, ah, that sounds pretty cool. And immediately, what I thought when I heard that sound was, it kind of felt like, I know, like those Nintendo video games when you talk to an NPC, or like other like more 8-bit style video games. They don't have you get the idea. If you play some video games, you understand what I mean. And that kind of reminded me of this. So what I thought was like, what if I make it sound like an NPC that does 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how the intro became like this. So yeah, I just chopped it up, and yeah, that felt unique. That felt like fitting the vibe of the whole atmosphere I was going for. And yeah, as well, I just added some wind chimes, which is, yeah, there's the plugin again. Yeah, all those kinds of small sounds are added here. But let's get to more into the intro. So I was kind of in a when I wrote Leap of Faith, I was kind of in a period where I really struggled with making music because I tried to do new things. Animal Crossings, yeah, exactly. That's the type of vibe. And when I just was really sample based, so I didn't really when I tried to work with the keyboard and try to write my own melodies, I was just constantly writing something else, and I just couldn't stick to anything. So I decided to just go to Splice and get some samples. And that sometimes, like, I'm very, if you know my music, I have been sample based, like especially in the integral days, I was really making music that used a lot of samples. Some of them are, often I cleared them though, so. But it involved a lot of sampling. And so what I started with is I was just digging through Splice, I think, and I found this, which is kind of a cool little guitar vibe. And then I added some atmospheric layers on top and something else. What I often do is I just search for key and for atmosphere, and also this pad that just filters up, and some risers and some sounds like this. And because what I was kind of aiming for was like this. There's this genre that it's called Botanica. It's like some some people describe it as ambient music for ADHD people, because it's like ambient, but it has a lot of textures and granular sounds. And when I made this track, I didn't know how to make those sounds, so I used mainly samples. Eventually, later on, I learned how to make those sounds. But sometimes, yeah, you can spend hours making sounds, but sometimes I just want to be quick. Like, as you saw, this project was made in 24 hours. I don't like to spend a lot of hours and time into sound design or in specific details, because if I do that, then I sometimes lose the direction I want to go in. And yeah, also in chat, like indeed, I really went for a major key vibe. That was something like in general that happened. Like in 2024, like 2023, 24, I was like in this era where I suddenly made very happy major key vibe music. And even though I thought that was like, yeah, you cannot do that suddenly, because I always thought like, oh, liquid drum and bass has to be very deep and dark. And there we have Helena, who's a C major warrior. Yeah, me too. I can only play in C major and A minor on the keyboard. I can play other keys as well, but I'm just not a good piano player. So yeah, let's actually go into it. I get too distracted. Let's get into the drums here. Like, there's a little drum intro here. So yeah, that's just it's actually a very random sound. I was playing with this, just messing around with it. If FL Studio doesn't crash this, that's something that could happen. Oh no, it doesn't. There we go. It didn't crash. Yeah, I'm using a lot of unstable plugins, old ones, and yeah, also my projects are very messy, and I have everything loaded in, like even my vocal processing I do in one project. But yeah, it's just Studio Drummer, and I think I just got the punk rock preset and used that. Yeah, but I did a lot of processing on it as well. So here's the channel for it. I added this RX950 plugin, which I use quite a lot. I think it sounds unique. It doesn't really sound like what it tries to do is emulate the sound of an old school sampler, like a 12-bit or 16-bit sampler, or even less, sometimes 8-bit. Like the sampling from the 90s had a different quality to it. It sounded way more like gritty and lo-fi, and this plugin tries to emulate it. And yeah, because I don't have the real hardware, I just use this sample. I just use this plugin that kind of emulates the sound, and I just mess around with it. I'm not trying to accurately recreate like the sound of jungle, but I just use it for texturing the sound or making it a little darker or have a specific type of sound. It just sounds different compared to like using a filter, I think. Then some EQ. I think I just removed most of the low end here because I wanted to keep the low end energy more for the drop. Then there's a chorus on there. Yeah, I put chorus on my drums, but the reason is because I was just going for like an effect type of drums. I didn't want them to sound like functional drums where it's about the drop or how much impact they made. It was more of like a rhythmic texture thing, so I just added a little bit of chorus. I just thought that was cool. I don't know why I did that. Sometimes I just do random things, and if I like it, then I keep it. And I just opened this, and I was wondering, this was just going through the project earlier today, and I was like, why do I have this drum strip on there? And I don't think it's doing anything. I think I just got the plugin new back then, and I just loaded it in. I wanted to try what it sounds like, and didn't end up using it. Then, yeah, bus compression. Oh yeah, there's another. I don't know what that was for. Yeah. Snap Heap, also a great plugin. I was just thinking I just wanted to mess around with sounds and seeing if I can get a cool, different texture out of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there will be a VOD. I will probably upload the whole breakdown on YouTube later on. Okay, and lastly, like this is the most important part. Plugin decision that I made on the drums was just this Mobius filter. Well, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's like a very strange resonant filter phaser type of thing, and yeah, I just loaded it in and was just messing around again. Like I didn't have a plan. I was just vibing. Just like how people talk about vibe coding these days. Like, I'm just vibe producing. Although I'm not using AI to. That's something different. But never mind. Anyway, moving on. Let's get to the interesting part. So the drop. The main melody, the main theme is this. Together with the vocals, it's this melody that I made. So what this is actually, this sound consists of 2 layers. It is a contact piano layered with a preset in Harmor, or I think Harmless. Let me see what it was. Let's see, I think it was Classic. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it was Harmless. I was just, again, vibing around. Sometimes I really focus on making my sounds myself, and sometimes I'm just inside of a vibe, and then I just want to work quickly, and then I go for presets. I have my own presets as well, but sometimes I just grab whatever I have and what I think sounds cool. So that's what I did here. So we have this sound. It's called Child's Play, I think. Yeah, it's Child's Play. And I just played the melody with 3 octaves. And I think I just added a wider here to make it wide. Again, the RX 950. What I did is you can hear what it does. Like here it sounds very harsh, and you see these like annoying frequencies even. And I just used this to make it sound more lo-fi. I think I just removed a little bit of mids here as well. And again, I have like lots of snappy presets. Like I love to just hop through presets and get and see what kind of presets I can find. Sometimes I like to work like make my own patch in this, but again, when I'm making a song, I'm just usually looking for textures, and sometimes I don't even know what specific sound I want. So then I just I just scroll through whatever I have and select whatever I think sounds interesting. So it's always like I want to be playful and quick and not be too focused on the details for hours. And again, I think I was like a frequency around 1K that was getting kind of harsh. I think it was conflicting with the vocals, so that's why I took it out. And now the piano, that's actually a contact piano. It's this one, Noir Pure. It's a great. But what I've done is that's kind of the theme I went for. I wanted to create this. This is where I also again. Yeah, what I tried to do was I wanted to create a texture. Like I was messing around with a few plugins like earlier on in the process when I was thinking about a palette for Leap of Faith and the whole era and this thing I was going for. So let's just listen to this without any plugins and see how the sound came about. So this is just the clean piano. Then I added some spectral gate, but I just only had to mix up like 25%, 29% here. I don't know if it really did anything, but I think I was messing around with it and just left it and forgot about it. But then again, this plugin here, the Tape Mellowify, let me grab it. I usually have two screens, so it's very annoying. And there we go. Got it. So this plugin is great. I got it on sale, and that just immediately makes the sound more lo-fi. But also, I added a little bit of drive and tone to it. Didn't go well on the wow flutter, just a little bit on there, and didn't use the filter. Then the main plugin. This is where the magic happens. If I can get it on screen, there we go. This codec. This was kind of the plugin that really created the sound for like this era. I first thought this plugin sounded very bad. Or like, this is unusable. Like I can get so many weird sounds of it, but it barely sounds usable. Until I just realized that if I layered this with something else, then it sounds pretty good. Or I don't know, I started liking it with specific settings. So then suddenly it sounded like this. And this is the sound. This is exactly the vibe that I was going for. Like it sounded very surreal, lo-fi-ish, and all that. Then I added some soothe. I was just sketching a few resonances. I was just messing around with it. What this is, I don't know. No, it's not even used. And then I used... Oh wait, I did use it. Yeah, I remember what I wanted to do. I wanted to catch some of the noise that was created. Like, you see these frequencies here? Like, I wanted to push them a little bit in the mix so they come up. And then, Oxford Inflator. It's a fun plugin. It just... it's actually what Sound Goodizer should have been. Like, Sound Goodizer sounds more like OTT, but very bleh. This actually does, like, this is off, and this is on. And it just does a very subtle thing here, where it just gives it a slightly bit more presence, or like, it steps a little bit forward in the mix. I think. So that's why I love this. I use this a lot, also on buses. By the way, I route everything in my song to a bus. Like every type of instrument goes to it. Like I have an instrument bus, a vocal bus, an effects bus, a bass bus, and a drum bus. That's how I like to work. So yeah, and together it sounds like this. That's the in-depth, detailed explanation of what that sound is. Then... Oh, I didn't even separate the channels here. Let's get into the bass, because I think the bass is quite interesting. No, that's not the bass. That's also not the bass. This is the bass. So what this is, like, if you've seen some of my videos or streams from back in the day, I mentioned that there was also like a specific Reese preset in the in GMS, which is a stock plugin in FL. I went for that preset again in the beginning because I was like, yeah, I just need an idea or a sketch that works. And what I did first, it sounded great. Like without it, like just this, it sounded all right. Something like this. Like this sounds like a very standard Reese bass. And then I add the 3 exhaust, which is just a sub. That's getting sidechained by the kick eventually, just to take some space. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to do was add some noise. So I just used RC20 and just put up some noise. Even distorted it a little bit here. Even did some magnetic thingies there. And what I also did is added a transgate because I wanted to be more like rhythmic instead of just static. Because I wanted to have a bit more of an energetic type of sound. What else? A wave shaper, just some saturation. And then this EQ curve that just removes the low end of it, and I also really boosted the noise here. It's always nice is to have a sound like a Reese and some white noise that's combined together, and then let that go together into like a saturator. That just often sounds very satisfying. It's also very common with like if people make like those deep rolling like DLR sofa sound type of basses. They often it's like a sub with some white noise, and then make some deep bassy wobbles with that, sort of like bass sounds or whatever they call them. Yeah, so I first had this, and it was great, but what we realized was that later on in the process we just needed a little bit more energy in low end. So what I did was I made this distorted layer, and this is also the source of the buzz in the project. So what I did is I just routed the GMS, the Reese that I had, into a new channel. I also could have used Patcher for this, but I thought, you know what? Let's just use the mixer. Okay, so this is how that sounds. I just boosted like the fundamental frequencies here in the 100 range, and then again here's the plugin again. Here's there we go. So again, I used codec. I just messed around with the buttons. Like I'm a musician. I'm not really that much of a technical guy and know exactly what the algorithm does for codec. I just aim for sounds and yeah, change some things around till I find what I like. So yeah, it sounded very distorted. Let's see, just go layer for layer. Then yeah, I added more saturation. Like like as you can hear, like the sound first sound very weird. Sorry, I forgot to turn off. I should have done that before. And I added a stunning phaser, which was something that I got. Like it's like a stepped phaser by Harrison. I just had this plugin. I wanted to try it out, see what it does. I think it added some movement in the sound, I guess. Then I just did the stock FL Blood Overdrive. Gotta love it. Gotta love the name too. It sounds really evil, like Blood Overdrive. Sounds like a guitar pedal with those crazy evil names. Did some EQ, took out a few frequencies that I didn't like, and I also wanted to create like a little comp filter effect as well, so I went extreme with it. Another EQ. And again, I was just trying to shape the sound a little bit. And then I added a transgate, which I think what it did was, what I wanted to do was give a little bit more sustain, or like, no, not sustain, like attack to the sound. So that's why I ended up with a transgate on there. I was just messing around again, like I'm gonna say that many times. And that's also my workflow, like I just try things and think what is cool. And then eventually something that I ranted about like a while ago, if the plugin wants to show itself. OTT. I don't like OTT still. I don't like how it sounds, but I get the function. Like for a sound like this, OTT just brings it to life. I think it's a sound design compressor. It's not a compressor that I would use for vocals or anything. And then of course I automated the filter. That's basically the sound, and that's layered together with like the original Reese. Let me route it back. Yeah, that sounds pretty sick, I think. It's unique. It sounds angry, but still smooth. Yeah, exactly. Angry. And then with the sub layer, which is just my classic 3x oscillator. I even added another layer here, just to give it a little bit more of the 200 Hz range. Just something very stable. It's not stable. It's definitely resonating. I think it was just something in Serum. And yeah, just those layers together make the sound. But there's even more bass. Let me get it. I actually... Okay, let me turn on all the channels. Yeah, that's me playing bass very sloppy. And that still comes from like the original demo when I was just vibing. Like I was just in a vibe and I was like, oh, let me play the bass notes with my bass guitar because I wanted to pick up playing the bass a little bit again after. I played the bass as a child, like when I was 9 years old, 8 years old, till I was 11, 12, I think. I was playing the bass all the time, but eventually, yeah, I got into FL and wanted to focus on that, so I kind of forgot about playing the bass. But recently, yeah, I got my bass back. I think it was on loan to someone, and I got it back, and was like, hey, let's try using it in some tracks. And this was one of the first tracks I used it in. So yeah, I just used the waves go up. I think I just used something from Waves, the guitar tool rack. Again, I was just vibing, so I just grabbed a preset and I thought it sounded cool. Did some corrective EQ in here just to make it layer, and I added some distortion and some, I put reverb on my bass, but it's a top bass, so it doesn't really matter. Or actually, I think it's something like putting reverb on your bass is not cursed. Putting reverb on your sub has been a classic cursed thing to do, but not here. Like when it's like the top layer of a bass sound, just put reverb. If it makes I mean, Yeah, sample bass producer plays his bass on the guitar. Yeah, I mean, it's still a sample. I'm sampling my own bass guitar. I guess. Oh well. Moving on. There we go, the beautiful sound again. Let's go to the drums. The drums are pretty lazy. Like, it's just some loops that I found and layered it with like extra sounds. One important element is this one, I think. I wanted to go for a little ravey type of break. Of course, you have the rides and some like I use these like rides all the time for for filling up the high end as well. Like, I want that high end energy when I have like an energetic drop. I just need some. Yeah, it's called top loop noise as well here. And then these drums. Shout out Fox Stevenson. And also a pattern that I really liked was I was just feeling like, let's go for more of a loop vibe instead of really figuring out my own drums or going for the integral style. Just because I wanted to try something new, and I found this pattern here, like boom, tak 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 tak. Like, I really like those like little ghost notes that are very loud, and that really gave the energy. Like, if you listen to the track without that drum layer, it just loses energy. Like, now it sounds very smooth and liquidy, but if I add these layers, it's suddenly like. Yeah, that gives so much more energy, those ghost notes. And again, if you've seen my older videos or tutorials, you know that ghost notes are very important for my type of music. Not all the time. Sometimes when I make more dreamy, very dreamy, smooth liquid, I tend to not really focus on the ghost notes. But for this track, it really gave the energy it needed. What else do we have? We have this little layer here, which is probably the most simple sound ever. Nah, not ever. Well, it's close to it. It's just 3 exhaust, square wave, this short envelope, pitch crush. Oh, never mind. This is a plugin I want to give some love. I fell. Come on. So this is Spectral Sand, and Spectral Sand is exactly the plugin that I needed, because it has a randomize button. So what it does, it's like a spectral sampler thing. I have someone else can explain it better than I do, but I think it's like a spectral synthesis like plugin, and yeah, I'm always focused on how it sounds, not what it does, but how it sounds. So it gave me this texture that I really felt fitting this this song, and also this era in general. Like, it has that Botanica kind of sound to it. And what I just did is I put it on here. But as you can hear, like, there's little sparkles and blips and like kind of lo-fi sounding. Like, when you don't, like, this is that type of sound when you don't. I don't know if you've experienced that before, but if you don't plug in your like your mini jack properly into your device, like but that was a thing, like where you had broken earpods, like back in 2009 when we all were using like those earplugs, and they always were like messed up or broken. Like, if you remember, like, there was this specific sound that came out of it when it wasn't plugged in properly or broken. You hear this like bleep bloopy kind of noise. Like, it kind of sounded like your music, but it sounded very off and low quality. And these spectral synthesis type of things really are great at emulating that type of sound. Like, little tail here, you hear that sound. And then, of course, filter and EQ'd it a little bit. Just some low pass, and I think, yeah. And then some more layers. Again, I added the Morpheus filter on this layer. Also some snap beat. Oh yeah, this is cool. Like I added snap beat here to get a cool rhythm going. Like I found this preset and was like, oh, this is the vibe on this sample. And here's another like spectral plugin that I love to use, Spectral Gate. This plugin exactly replicates that sound of having bad quality MP3 or like the broken headphones. Like this is how it sounds without it, and then yeah, it goes like that. It's very quiet, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Guitars here. This loop. Just some noise, ambience. See, did I do any processing on it? No, just EQ. Sometimes I just grab a sample and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. More rides. Yeah. It's a lot. Let's get into like, yeah, I also added some strings here later on, just to fill up some layers. Let's see. It's just the BBC Symphony Orchestra sample pack from, what's it again? Yeah, exactly. It's that, you can also explain it as like the Zoom call sound suppression type of sound. Let's see, yeah, I just used this. It's free, sometimes it's great. I love free stuff because I'm Dutch. If I go to the supermarket and see 1 + 1 free, my heart beats a little faster and I get the 1 + 1 free action all the time. But only if I need it. Okay. Let's go on. It's a very big track, by the way. It's not my biggest track I've done. It's not like was another song of mine, Change of Heart, which has way more layers. But yeah, aliasing. Yeah, I think that could be the word. I don't really know what's exactly the word for it. Okay. So here. Yeah, don't worry. I'm also delayed. Please enter your serial number. Oh my! I just realized that I updated to Serum 2. I have, and this still is using Serum 1, and I got a new PC and I didn't unlock Serum 1 at all. But the plugin still works. I cannot really show the patches, but it's just some yeah. I think these are also splice presets or sounds that I found. And this is just a super saw sample or sound preset that I found, or I think I made it. I don't remember. Like, I cannot open it right now. Oh god. Now the plugin died. Whoops. Serum. They don't even support this plugin anymore, I think. It's opened x4records.com/products/serum on another screen and it says 404 page not found, so we're cooked. Let me just reopen the plugin or the project again, I guess. Let's see, save changes. No, we're not going to save changes. Now we're just going to pray everything will go right. Because my system is all over the place and it has been stable. It's stable when I'm working, but yeah, it's just part of it that sometimes something derps out and then the whole project crashes. That's just part of the experience. Yeah, I could have done that too, but I'm now already reopening the project, so it resets. So yeah, I'm also just using very outdated plugins too, because I'm also like, I should be updating things, but I'm always afraid that I break something if I update it. And actually, if I update something, things often break. So I try not to update. But if I don't but also if I don't update, it also breaks. So I'm like, yeah, I can start upgrading or updating plugins, and it's gonna lead to the same result. Except when after updating it, you have spent like an hour of updating all your plugins, and then for what? You just still have the same issues or different issues that pop up. Anyway. So yeah, it opened. There we go. That's the project. Again. Let's quickly go back to the sounds. Let's just know that this, it's just this sound. And yeah, exactly. My life is always just hoping things don't break. Let's get to the chord progression, actually. That's something I haven't talked about. Because, yeah, I used to be very sample-based, but I also know how to write my own chords. Though this is very simple. So there's this little trick. Like, what I've realized, what I've learned is that if you like this, there's like a specific combination of keys, like this perfect fifth. Like I think it's the like I think this track is in D major. That's D minor. There we go. I can play D minor. So yeah, I just often use this perfect fifth as like a droning chord, and then with the see, and it sounds great with whatever bass note you use. It just keeps on working. Recently I saw a live stream of the Midnight, and the Midnight explained it perfectly. Like, yeah, they do the same thing, but they also like add a lot of sustained or add 9 chords to it, which I didn't really do that much in this track. I really wanted to make it feel more like, I wanted to focus on the sound and not really on the chords. Okay, let's. Yeah. And yeah, basically that's the drop together. That everything together sounds like this. But let's get into the vocals, because that's where the track really shines, I think. That's when once the vocals came in, it was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. See in your face, in a beautiful world, yeah, I was afraid. Yeah. When I'm doing vocals, or when I what's kind of the standard in vocal production is I always have like your lead track, and then I have a left and right take that's not the same vocal, but it's a different take. So you have the center vocal, and the left vocal and the right vocal. So vocalists often do 3 takes for the whole performance, or they cut it into pieces like most do. Unless you can sing the whole thing perfectly 3 times, then that's very cool. But I think Kintsuku just did the choruses here all loose. and then do that multiple times, then eventually comp it, and then create 3 layers that stacked up on each other. Let me get to the vocals.
See in your face.
So this is your middle vocal, so it's in the center.
In a beautiful world, yeah, I was afraid.
And these are the doubles. And this creates the big stereo effect that that make vocals pop. Yeah, this is like, I think once you start doing vocals, common knowledge. It's very standard.
See in your face.
And my vocal chain also is a bit strange. I don't know what I know. I think I know what I'm doing, but actually I did some things here that I wouldn't do right now. But first, I always
see in your face.
Make sure that there's no rumble in like 20 to like 150 hertz. And first thing is the classic 1176 plugin. This one is from UID. I think I got it on sale again. This one is great. It's just, I mean, this has been like 50 years, 60 years that it has been like used on all pop records. But yeah, there are a lot of plugins out there, but yeah, this just works. And it's very simple. You only have a few knobs. And expensive vocal chain. Yeah, it is. Actually, I got these. No, just kidding. I got these plugins for free when they were on sale. Like, they gave it away. But what I've done here is like used multiple compressors. So each compressor has their own function and doesn't have to do everything. And I think using this technique really makes the vocal more forward. Like that's the goal of compression. When you're compressing vocals, you want to make them sit in the mix. Also give them more power, more grit. Like especially the LA2A really adds more like smoothness to it because it's like a tube compressor, and it just adds a lot of character and all that. So like the raw, I think she already compressed it a little bit. I wasn't sure, but these are the raw vocals.
See in your face. In a beautiful world, yeah, I was afraid.
But you can hear like you hear like the vocal is like going away a little bit, going forward a little bit. That's just the dynamics of a human voice. But yeah, with a compressor you can just push it more forward, make it more consistent.
See in your face. In a beautiful
well, this one is
yeah,
just sketching the peaks, as you can see. Like when the beautiful world was working harder because it was louder. So the 1176 is very fast, and it's just sketching the peaks and making it more stable. And the LA2A here just adds the power.
See in your face. In a beautiful
saturates a little bit,
yeah,
sounds very nice.
Afraid it will come crashing like the rain.
It's very subtle, but it's very, I think it's very musical and beautiful. Then I even compressed it a little bit more here. Sometimes I just use 3 compressors, especially when I need the track to really sit. Like, then I just add the CLA vocals. This is a magic plugin. It's like one of those magical tools that just like sound good eyes, you know.
See in your face.
So I added some low end here, some treble. I didn't even add treble. Just a little bit of compression.
It will come crash.
And here I just de-essed it after compression, but nowadays I would prefer to do it before the vocals, before the compression, because then you have those S's out before the compressor tries to duck them. I think it sounds more natural, but I didn't know about that when I made this.
See in your face.
But it still sounds great.
In a beautiful world, yeah, I was afraid.
Also did some DS, like some soothing here, because I thought some frequencies were getting a little bit harsh, especially like around the 1 to like 4K region. Then more EQ. I used a more fancy EQ this time. This is the SSL native EQ.
See in your face.
I think I just wanted to boost a little bit of the.
Beautiful world.
I think I sometimes do very counterintuitive things, like, and I do something like my process is always a mess, and then I somehow still end up with something like, okay, I'm happy with this. So I just boosted some like 340 hertz, just some body. Like I wanted to boost the fundamental a little bit.
See in your face. In a beautiful world.
I actually wanted to get a plugin soon. Like this, there's a plugin called EQ Server, or like Serve EQ, I think it was called. EQ Server, but that's like an EQ that follows the fundamental frequency of like a vocal performance or a synth performance or anything, which is something that I really would find useful. So I'm probably gonna get that real soon. Server EQ, yeah, I think it was Server EQ. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, or link me the plugin. Like if you know it, then just say it, scream it. Yeah, and then
see in your face.
I wanted to add some, even some more character. This is the Pultec EQ. This is a very famous EQ. It only has a few knobs. You cannot really. This is an EQ that you use to really add character to a sound. This is not so much for correcting issues in a mix or like finding specific frequencies and cutting them out. This is more about I want to boost something and roughly attenuate something. And this also this plugin also has like this internal like electronics that make it sound that adds a little bit of harmonics and like a little bit of distortion. It really sounds beautiful, and especially what I've realized with the Pultec is lots of people use it on the low end just to boost like 60 hertz and then boost and then attenuate at the same time, which you can do with this EQ. And that's called like in studio world, or they call it like I think it was like the Pultec punch or something. But it's also very nice with this high end here. Like I wanted to use it as a plugin to add some crisp and some clarity to the vocal, like the very upper tops, so like 12K, 16K. So what I did is I just boosted that a little bit with this plugin, and it sounded very beautiful.
See in your face. In a beautiful world, yeah, I was afraid it would come crashing.
It sounds very
like
smooth.
rain. Don't know
I love it. There are definitely other plugins that do this as well. You also have like Fresh Air, which I use a lot. But this time in this project, I wanted to see what the Pultec did and did that.
See in your face.
And eventually later on in the mixing stage, I decided like, oh no, never mind. I need to remove the 600 hertz, so let me do that. And then I add a lot of plugins because maybe somewhere else I was boosting. Yeah, sometimes I just work like that. And then I think the doubles are way easier. Here I actually did the de-essing correctly.
See in your face.
So there's the de-esser going into RVox. And RVox is just my go-to. I quickly need to compress vocals. I'll just go for RVox because it sounds very transparent and very good. And I just did some EQ and removed a little bit of 500 to 1K.
See in your face.
I think that was to make some room for something else. And effects. What? What did I even do here? Oh, I think I know what I've done.
See in your face.
So this is the vocal reverb. So there's delay here. And I always do the classic EDM trick. Whoa. That's a very long limiter. So I just use Fruity Limiter just for the sidechain option. And what I wanted to do was duck the delay whenever the vocal was singing. Whenever Kintsuku was singing, I duck the delay and then make it come back when she stops when the phrase stops, and then the delay goes in, so it's not clashing. There's a little slap reverb. I used, I think, just a quick slap reverb on the SSL native flex verb, and that sounds great. That just makes add some more room to it. Yo, TZ, what's up? Haven't seen you in ages. Hope you're good. What else? Yeah, I think the last time I was live actually was with TZ. I was working on some of the things that we were messing around with. Let's see. KHS Shaper, something I barely ever use. I was always like, I need let me try this plugin. Let's experiment.
See in your face.
So I added a distortion layer to the vocals as well, just to give it more punch. Or like punch, what's the good word? I just wanted to add something even more energetic or like big or in your face. So I just decided to very subtly add a little distortion layer on top of the vocals.
See in your face.
You can hear it. Just without it.
See in your face. See in your face.
Yeah, very subtle, but it does give some extra character to it. But I also added a few to like a mute, and the reason why I added that was so I only have this effect during the choruses. So when the drop hits and when the chorus is there, then I want to enable the distortion, and otherwise I don't want to enable it. Let's see what else we have on the vocal bus. We have another RVox. So we're just stacking compressors on top of each other. I think I just did that because I wanted to get it even more forward in the mix. And I was like, yeah, let's try another compressor, and it worked. And then I wanted to get it even more out there. Or I don't know why I did that. Sometimes I make decisions like, or I look at the project like, why was I doing that? All right. So Oxford Inflator here. Also, again, I explained it earlier, this plugin just really does what Sound Goodizer should have been. Just subtly makes everything more upfront. I think it saturates, compresses a little bit. I don't exactly know what it does. Just like DJ Carnage, I think it was. It made things way more stronger. Damn, that meme is almost 11 years old. Moving on. Yeah, vocals are cool. Also added some Vocal Rider, I think, which is a very handy. Oh, I actually removed it. I don't use Vocal Rider anymore.
See in your face.
Nope.
In a beautiful world,
And I also added a different vocal chain during the verses, and the reason was I wanted to make it sound a little bit more. A little bit calmer because the chorus needs to pop, so I went for like heavy hard compression, and for the verses, let's get the verse.
Write a story without the end. I wish we're given endless chances to fit the pieces
to make it sound. I don't know exactly
right.
how different it is, but
from
especially
the
here.
dark and head into the light and give you everything. I want
this is
to
the
run.
no drop vocal chain. So that's this basically a similar vocal chain. I think it. I don't know why this is on here. Not sure. Again, compression, but all a little bit more subtle. So I just messed around until I found something that was more fitting for the verse, because you don't want to have, you want to save some energy for the chorus and make the verses a little bit more subtle and clean. The second verse, I just added Oh, Nexus. I just played this very simple melody in the background. And yeah, this is the original classic Nexus 2. This is the copy that I got in 2012. I had it on CD. I actually have the original licensor plugged in. That's... I don't even want to know how long ago 2012 was. And it's just that, and just removed a lot of low mids and removed all of the low end, because Nexus was very... it always had this very big low end that I just didn't need it. It was like... Nexus always became muddy in mixes when I was using it back in the day. So I always knew, like, oh, get as much low end out of it as possible. But I played this, like, which patch is this? Playing Piano in Heaven. And this sound, yeah, I wanted to use Nexus as well, because I think it sounds nostalgic. Like, nowadays, like, 5-6 years ago, or like 7 years ago, people would cringe when they saw Nexus 2. But nowadays, I think it is like... It's definitely became nostalgic for people. Like these sounds, the classic. Like, I've heard some people that go through Nexus presets like, oh, I remember that. I had that too. Like, oh, the classic Avicii's piano sound, like Basto or those kinds of guys from like 2010 EDM. Yeah, everything was Nexus 2. That was the plugin. Yeah, so that for the second verse, I just added more layers. I also added this little distorted guitar loop on top of it. Sounds very nice. And I remember that I also added some guitars. I think here. Yeah. Shout out to Boxplot. He didn't work on this tune though, don't worry, but it reminded me of like a Boxplot tune, or his sound. Well, it's actually just straight as the free edition. Actually the reason, yeah, shout out to Silent One as well. Nexus 2, those are our generation of analog synths. Well, yeah, I used shreddage, and the only reason why I used shreddage was because I couldn't find this thing. I was looking for it all over my studio, couldn't find one. Now I have one again. Because I'm not a guitar player, but I can play bass, and I can also record over and over, so I can just try to play some power chords. That's something that I can play. And then I just stack multiple power chords on top of each other and create guitar riffs like that, which you might see in a breakdown later on when I go through other tracks I've made. But yeah, shreddage, it's just playing... It's actually playing like a little beautiful note here. Yeah, it's going from... So here you go again. You have these hanging chords that just stay on D. But there's this little... Yeah, it goes from D. So this feels very, very like home. But I quickly go a little bit away with this E, and that resolves back into D. So there's a little bit of tension in the guitar layer as well. And then there's like a more of a sub layer, like playing the bass notes. And together it's kind of sounded like a realistic guitar. And for processing, I think I just grabbed some... Again, I was busy trying to get quick results, so I grabbed, yeah, transparent push preset from THU Slate. This is a great plugin, by the way. Like, I also have Guitar Rig, but I think that's very old. I think there are better plugins nowadays as well, but this is what I have. That's also my philosophy. I can get all the plugins that the big people use, but sometimes I just gotta try and make things with the plugins that I already have installed or am paying for because of plugin subscriptions and stuff. Like, just try to mess around with the plugins it comes with. Like, for example, the reason why I use the SSL native EQ2 is because I don't have a license for Pro Q, so I use that instead of Pro Q, and I still go for the parametric built-in EQ from FL if I just quickly need to do something. But yeah, that's actually the layers that get added on top of the second chorus. We have the little piano here. There's the piano lead again, but it's just a piano without layer, and it's filtered, so it's a little bit in the background. I just added like this again. Like here's the glitch sound again. And some crashes. There are a lot of background vocals as well. Oh yeah, and I also added later on to make the bass more gritty. I just went through like some bass samples that I had and put them in. Again, I'm not gonna sit and make very sick basses just for little filler sounds like that. Unless I want to. But for this I just was like, I need to get this track over the finish line. I will just want to focus on the feeling and not care about, oh, is this my own original sound? And even then, I think it is, because I still did some processing to it. I EQ'd it very, very simply, but and added reverb and also made it fade in, so it's more of an effect instead of a heavy bass sound. I also added them here. Here's another one. Alright, by the way, there's a lot of automation going on too. So that little Reese bass that we talked about earlier also gets automated. That's the filter automation that you saw on that bass layer. Yeah, just trying things to keep it alive and interesting. Seeing your face in a beautiful world. Yeah, I was afraid of our future. Here's another one. Like all those little effects just keep the track interesting and keep it heavy, because I think it was like when I first delivered the first demo to Liquicity, they were like, this is very sick, but maybe we can make it more gritty, add some beef to it. And yeah, I decided to really boost up the bass and add these sounds to make it more epic and in your face. I forgot about something very important in this track. So that's this layer. Wow. That's very ambient. So this is just a... Let's see what I did. There's an effect in Edison that's called blur, and that has been used by so many producers back in the day and still gets used all the time. So what you do is you get a sample. Let's see. There's this gangster sample. I don't know why I have it. Oh, I know which sample this is. Let's not talk about that. So there's this button here called blur. And then you just mess around with this if you want to, but if you just hit accept, it's already gonna sound like this. Beautiful. So I did that with the whole vocal take, and I layered that underneath the vocal, and I think I ducked it as well with the original vocal take. So every time the vocal sings, it gets ducked. Not even. I didn't even do that. That's what I would have done nowadays, but sometimes it's not needed. I think I just decided like, yeah, this sounds already great. It just already adds the texture that I needed. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up. The stream is getting quite long. We're over an hour. Let's go to the bridge here. Like, this is the first time I thought in the drum and bass track, like, I'm gonna change up the arrangement. Like, also the fact that it drops so quickly was intentional, because I wanted to do something that wasn't just long dance floor intro or like just build up and very cliche. I wanted to do something different this time. So
To take a leap of faith.
again, this was just me scrolling to Splice, and again I heard this guitar and I was like, I'm in love. This is beautiful. And I just used a sample. I was like, yeah, but this is it. Sometimes it doesn't have to be so hard. And I added these little sounds here. I remember. The old demo just had this sound as the bridge, but combined with this. As you can hear, like, this little piano has like a very funny rhythm, like this does. Ding, 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 ding. But it's still on the grid, as you can see. It's like some like body rhythm thing, or yeah.
If I could just save myself from.
And here, and also before the first chorus, like, or the second chorus and the third chorus, I do this little bass line. Actually, it's not linear, but I do about automation. I just loop up a little bit to create tension with the notes. Like, I go to the E here, E to F sharp to G to B, and then on the last round I just hang on the G. Very classic like pre-chorus vibes.
If I could just
And then
my heart,
here the drums come back again.
I want to run.
I added some dance floor build-up sounds with a flanger because I thought that was cool. And of course risers, but those aren't very interesting.
Give you everything I want. See in your face.
And this little filtered break before the drop.
See in your face. In a beautiful.
And that's the final chorus. And what I wanted to create, like, there are quite a few beautiful ideas that I had when I wanted to get into this. Like,
See in your face. In a beautiful day.
I had this riser, also this thing here. But I actually wanted to add, like, I wanted this last final chorus to feel like an explosion, like, because the vocals were like going explosive on the end. Like, it really felt like a finale, like a final boss in the song. So I decided to add some fireworks to it. Like, that's what I wanted to make it feel like. I wanted to make it feel euphoric and fireworks and Happy New Year. So like, those little elements really emphasize like the emotion in the track. Like, those little things. Like, for example, in another tune, like in Change, I think it was in Melting Hearts. I think it was a fan that I have somewhere over there. I have a little heater, and I just thought, let's just record me turning on and off the heater. And I think it added a lot of character to that song as well. Like, it's a small little detail, but for me, it's like, oh yeah, I did that. Okay.
One day.
Cut here, of course.
I was afraid it would come crashing like the rain. Don't know for
Yeah, and here she does, like, here she killed it. Like, we have these layers here. Like, you have the final chorus, main vocals. Oh, these are these little extra harmonies that just make it really punch. Here are the other harmonies. Yeah, it was so good. All these like harmonies that layer on top of each other. This is like a little how you call that plugin again? It's I think she did it with vocal synth. Hey, what's up? It's good to see you. Good to see you. I'm almost wrapping up before I have the final thing to say, which is probably my favorite instrument on this track. But first, let's go to the vocals a little bit. We have this vocal synthing, multiple layers, different harmonies. Yeah, that's what makes a vocal sound great. Like adding multiple harmonies, or stacking harmonies really makes a vocal performance really shine. That's what like the big artists do. They are just very good. Sometimes, I think I saw it like in a Porter Robinson stream where he also told like when he did when he does music, the first single take just sounds okay, that sounds kind of mid. But once you start stacking and comping and adding effects and adding multiple layers, then suddenly the whole performance comes together. I also saw that in the video of Michael Jackson. Like I saw a video with it of all the takes of Thriller. It was also like, wow, so many harmonies together create this one big thing that we now all know as Thriller. It was very insane. Like Quincy Jones and Bruce Sweetin really knew what they were doing. I think they're also like the pioneers of that idea, next to the Beatles, of course. Here we have more harmonies. Like these are just background vocals. They're just layers. This is so good. I haven't heard them in a while. Also, this thing here. Oh, just another.
explain whatever I fade. I won't give up and I will learn how.
Yeah, and here we have the crazy part for performance. And this is just more vocal synth. It's this harmony here.
Out the end, I wish we're given endless.
Where's the crazy take? There's one crazy take. I think it was this one.
I won't give up and I was afraid.
There are way too many. I can get lost in this all the time. There's so many. This final chorus feels like a passion project. Like, I was like so locked on that final chorus. It meant so much to me. Like when I was making it, was just wow. This is epic, guys. This is epic. Moving on now. Let's go to the outro. We're almost done. I'm getting tired, and the track is almost over. Oops. So yeah, this sound here, like this is like one of the more interesting sounds that I've done on this. Maybe the most interesting sounds for me personally for this project. So let me get the original Let me get the original source from this for the sound. Let me hold it. God damn it. Why cannot... Why can I not one Dre not drop anything? Let me introduce you to the Yamaha Porta Sound PS401. This is a beautiful kid's keyboard. And actually the story behind this thing is a friend found it at the trash. So it was just junk. And a friend brought it home and put it in a closet and sometimes did some meme songs with it and then forgot about it. And eventually was like, a friend of mine was like, oh, I found this in my closet. And I was like, do you want to have it? And I'm like, sure, I'll take it with me. See if it still works. And we got it working again. And I was like, yeah, I love the lo-fi sound of it. It's fully analog. This is real analog shit right here. I think it's analog. See if it turns on. There we go. I think it was a specific patch on this thing. I think it was this one. And I just played it very sloppy with my hand. And also a cool thing about this thing is it has an output. So I just put it in my audio interface. And I just sloppily recorded it. And as you can see, here are the takes. And I did want to add some character to it, so here it is. I did, again, add spectral sand. Yeah, it sounds super pretty with the spectral sand on there. And again, the codec, like these are the plugins that gave the whole project the character that I wanted to go for. And then I had to EQ it a little bit. I wanted to get it more crispy. So there was like some weirdness going on there. I wanted to capture that. Added some reverb, and I think then I was like bored, and I was like, can I do can I sample the speaker as well? So I just grabbed the microphone, put it on top of the speaker of the Porta Sound. It sounds like this. So it sounds very in the background, but it just adds some added some ambience, I think. Yeah, this was like definitely Porter sounding. And I think my favorite sound of the whole project. Maybe if I ever... Yeah, should I do a VIP of this track one day? Because I have ideas for a VIP of this track. I have so many... Like now I wanted to make it more feel like a radio edit, but maybe I wanted to do like an epic. If people... Yeah, people are reacting very well to this song, by the way, so I'm very grateful for that. But if you guys want to hear a extended or like an bigger orchestrated, longer arrangement version of the song with... That's not like the DJ edit. I also did the extended DJ edit as well, which just has more time to mix in the other track. But yeah, I definitely want to do. I have great ideas to make a bigger version of this song. But I think that's it. Basically, that's the whole tune. Like, yeah, it took me 1.5 hours or something to explain it, how it works. But yeah, I probably missed some sounds. Like I think I added, like for example, I added more pads here, and like on the last verse, I just add. That's how I always think. Like first chorus, just keep it a little bit more simpler, and then make the second chorus more euphoric, and then the final one just has to have all the layers. So I just grabbed some more sounds and layers and samples that I had and layered them on top of each other. Like this one, more of a synth wavy one. Even added like full on synth wavy layer on the second part here. But this one really sounds full. Like the last, so it builds up in sound until you get the idea. I think that's the most important. If there are any questions, let me know. I can quickly show that if you want to know about a specific sound or if I'm missing something, because yeah, I'm probably missing something because it's quite a project, as you can see, and it's also very unorganized. So let me know. Yeah, so the chat is always a little bit delayed, but I'll get in it once I see a question pop up, if there are any. Wow, gotta love the randomness of that plugin. It's just giving the ambience of the bass sound. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's the piano. Yeah, that's just a random crash. What's this? That's another bass sound. Oh, well, I remember that I added another sound here as well. This one. Again, like one of the more deep, like not deep, Botanica sounds. I think this was actually from one of the big producers in Botanica. I made a sample pack. I just needed some of those sounds in this track and grabbed them. I'm also hyped for this weekend. We have a little secret party. I sadly cannot invite everyone, but it's gonna be a lot of fun this weekend. So I gotta prepare a set soon. I'm not too worried. Yeah, all these. Oh yeah, another thing quickly. Let's just go back. Also use some tape stop here to get the tails to stop. Because the delay was like playing through a while, like before the little silence of the drop, so I just put a tape stop before it. So it's just the tick tick, like the NPC counting down and the vocals, so it just drops. Just a small element. What else in automation? Yeah, I just did some. Always important to sometimes send specific things louder to the reverbs. Yeah, by the way, the reverbs that I use is Valhalla Shimmer. I use that all the time. It's really like some of my plugins I use it as a mixing thing as well, because I like to smooth out my high end. And with this I can, like, yeah, what it does, a shimmer basically is a reverb that is able to play it like an octave higher as well, so it adds more like layers to it as well in the reverb. And especially if I do it an octave higher, I can really create a lush high-end brightness to it. Sounds very lush. Verb Suit Classics. I just had the guitar solo preset on here. It's a great reverb. Has more classic sounds as well. The H delay, can't live without it. It's just the best delay plugin that I have. No need to replace it. And Solaris, it's always on my. Solaris is like probably my main big reverb. It is. I mainly use this for like big atmospheric ambient sounds, and since I do that a lot, and I often grab the Solaris for something, especially for vocals, I just use this and duck it when needed. With the original vocal take, I explained it earlier. Let's turn off that distortion layer. It's always making noise. It's just a plugin doing its thing. But yeah, I think we are through everything. I don't see any questions in chat, so unless you are quick with questions right now, just ask them now. Otherwise, I'll just head home and prepare for something this weekend, and also for another release that's coming up later this year, later this month. No, not this month. I don't know. I cannot say it yet. So yeah, enough things to do. All right. Well, I don't see anything pop up in chat, so I hope this is everything that you need to know about the track Leap of Faith. You can stream it. It's on all the platforms. I have to say it. Also, don't forget to follow me on Spotify if you haven't done that yet. So you won't miss out on the next release. And I guess you already know my Instagram and all that. So just give it a follow. I will probably clip some things from this stream as well on my Instagram. So yeah, if there's nothing else, then I will say good night. Or good night, good evening. It's Thursday evening. The studio makes me forget about time, so yeah. All right. Till next time, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Ciao, ciao.